Welcome to the Captain English podcast. I'm your host, Paul, and I'm super excited to be here today.
And I'm Alice, your co-host, also incredibly excited. It's great to be back in the studio with all of you, our amazing listeners. Paul, how's your week been so far? Anything exciting happening?
It's been fantastic, Alice. I actually tried to order coffee in French this morning, just a small practice, and it got me thinking about our topic today. It's something that sounds almost too good to be true for many people, but I think we can really break it down.
Oh, I love that. Ordering coffee in French, that's a brilliant start to the day. And you're absolutely right. Our topic today is going to blow some minds, I think. We're talking about how to learn any language in 6 months. 6 months, Paul. It sounds like a dream, doesn't it?
It does, Alice. And I know what many of you might be thinking out there. 6 months? That's impossible. Or, I've been studying English for years and I'm still struggling. And that's totally understandable. We've all been there, right? But what if I told you there are specific, proven principles and actions that can dramatically speed up your language learning journey?
Exactly. We're not talking about some magic pill here. We're talking about smart, effective strategies that transform how you approach learning. It's about changing your mindset and your methods. And for anyone who's ever dreamed of being fluent in another language, this episode is for you. We're going to dive deep into what makes this 6-month idea not just possible, but genuinely achievable.
Absolutely. And a lot of what we're going to talk about today comes from some incredible insights shared by language experts, people who have actually done this and helped countless others do the same. We're going to simplify it all so you can start applying these techniques right away, whether you're learning English, Spanish, Japanese, anything.
So let's jump right in. Paul, where do we even begin with such an ambitious goal? 6 months. It feels like such a short time, but what's the core idea behind making it possible?
Well, Alice, the first and most crucial point, and this might surprise some people, is that adults can actually learn a language much faster than children. Yes, you heard that right. The common belief is that children are sponges and adults struggle. But adults have a lot of advantages. They understand abstract concepts, they have a larger vocabulary in their native language, and they can focus better. The key is using the right method.
That's such an empowering thought. It takes away that "I'm too old to learn" excuse. So if adults have these advantages, what are these right methods? What's the first principle we should adopt?
Great question. The very first principle is to focus on language that is relevant to you. This is critical. Don't just pick up a textbook and start learning random phrases like, "the cat is on the mat," if you don't care about cats or mats. Think about why you want to learn the language. Is it for travel, for work, for a hobby? Identify what you'll use the language for immediately and focus on those specific words and phrases.
That makes so much sense. If I'm learning Spanish because I want to travel to Spain, I should be learning phrases for ordering food, asking for directions, or booking a hotel. Not necessarily complex literary terms, right? It keeps you motivated because you see immediate use for what you're learning.
Exactly. It's like building a toolkit. You wouldn't put a hammer in your toolkit if you only ever needed a screwdriver. So, identify your tools, the vocabulary and grammar you'll actually use. This also applies to listening. Listen to podcasts or watch shows that genuinely interest you, even if they're a bit challenging at first. Your brain will naturally tune in more because it cares about the content.
Love that toolkit analogy. Okay, so once we've figured out what's relevant, what's the next big principle for quick language acquisition?
The second principle is crucial. Use the language to communicate from day one. This is where many people get stuck. They wait until they feel ready or perfect before they try to speak. But guess what? You'll never feel perfectly ready. The goal is communication, not perfection. Start making sounds, making mistakes, and interacting. Even if it's just hello or thank you on the first day, you're using it to communicate.
Oh, this resonates so much with me. I used to be terrified of speaking French because I thought I sounded silly or would make too many errors, but you learn by doing. It's like learning to ride a bike. You can read all the books about it, but until you get on and fall a few times, you won't truly learn. Embrace the wobbles.
That's a perfect analogy, Alice. Think of it this way. Your brain is a muscle. If you only read about lifting weights, your muscles won't grow. You need to actually lift them. Speaking, even imperfectly, activates different parts of your brain and forces you to think and react in the new language. It builds confidence too, even small successes.
Absolutely. It really boils down to overcoming that fear of making mistakes. It's part of the process, a natural part of learning anything new. So Principle 1, relevance. Principle 2, communicate from day one. What's next?
Third principle, understand the mechanics of how a language works. This isn't about deep grammar rules at first, but rather understanding the basic patterns. How do sounds combine? How do words change? How are sentences generally structured? For example, in English, we often follow a subject-verb-object pattern. Knowing these simple rules helps you put things together faster, even with limited vocabulary.
So it's like getting a basic map of the language rather than trying to memorize every single street name without knowing where you are going. It helps you anticipate how sentences might be formed and makes listening and speaking a little less overwhelming.
Exactly. It's about recognizing patterns. You don't need to be a linguist, but just having a general idea helps your brain categorize and make sense of new information. Think of it as a subconscious understanding. You start noticing things like how questions are formed or how verbs change depending on who is doing the action.
That's incredibly helpful. Okay, what's principle number 4? We're building a really solid foundation here.
Principle number 4 is all about physiological training. This might sound a bit technical, but it simply means getting your mouth, throat, and even your breathing used to the new sounds and rhythms of the language. Every language has unique sounds that might not exist in your native tongue. Your mouth muscles aren't used to making them.
Oh, I totally get this. Like when I try to speak German and my mouth just feels clumsy, the ch sound or the rolling R in Spanish. It's not just about knowing the sound, it's about physically being able to produce it correctly and quickly. So, how do we train our physiology?
Good question. It's through conscious imitation, listening intently and repeating over and over. Think of it like an athlete training their body. They practice specific movements until they become second nature. For language, it means listening to native speakers and trying to copy their pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm as closely as possible. It feels awkward at first, but with practice, those muscles get stronger.
So basically, don't be afraid to sound silly and just mimic. It's a workout for your tongue and lips. I love that. And finally, the 5th principle?
The 5th principle, and arguably one of the most important, is your psychological state. This is your mindset. You need to be positive, tolerant of ambiguity, and comfortable with making mistakes. If you're constantly stressed, embarrassed, or afraid, your brain actually closes down and can't absorb new information as effectively.
Ah, the mental game. This applies to everything in life, doesn't it? If you tell yourself, I'm bad at this or this is too hard, you're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. But if you approach it with curiosity, an open mind, and a willingness to be imperfect, it changes everything.
Absolutely. Think of a child learning their first language. They don't worry about grammar or sounding silly. They just try, make mistakes, and keep going. We need to recapture some of that fearless attitude. Celebrate small victories, laugh at your mistakes, and remember that every failure is just a step closer to success. And hey, while we're talking about success, if you're enjoying these tips and want to keep getting better at English, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps us bring more great content to you.
Yes, please subscribe. It means the world to us and you won't miss any future episodes. So, to quickly recap the 5 principles: relevance, communicate from day one, understand mechanics, physiological training, and a positive psychological state. Those are powerful. Now, Paul, these principles sound great, but what are the actual actions people can take? What do we do?
Excellent segue, Alice. Principles are the why, actions are the how. The first action is simple but profound. Listen a lot. We're talking about immersive listening, almost bathing in the sounds of the language. Even if you don't understand anything at first, just let the sounds wash over you. Your brain is a supercomputer. It will start recognizing patterns and sounds unconsciously.
This reminds me of when I visited a country where I didn't speak the language. After a few days, even without understanding words, I started to pick up on the rhythm, the common phrases, the intonation. It's like your brain is slowly tuning into a new radio station. So don't wait until you understand to start listening. Just listen.
Exactly. Put on a podcast, a song, a TV show in the background. Don't worry about trying to understand every word. Just get used to the sounds. The second action builds on this. Get the meaning first, even if you don't understand the words. How do you do that? Use body language, context, facial expressions, and surrounding objects. If someone points to an apple and says poma, you know poma means apple, even if you've never heard it before.
This is how babies learn, isn't it? They connect what they see and experience with the sounds they hear. We often forget to use these natural learning tools as adults, so watching a show with visuals, even without subtitles, can be really effective because you're using context clues to infer meaning.
Spot on. Don't rely solely on dictionaries. Try to connect the new word directly to an image or an action in your mind. This helps you start thinking in the language, rather than constantly translating. The third action is to start mixing. This means using the few words you know and putting them together to try and communicate. Even if it's broken, or just two words, mix them up.
Like me, eat apple. Instead of a full sentence, I want to eat an apple. It's about being creative with what you have and not being afraid to sound like Tarzan. It's a stepping stone.
Precisely. Your goal isn't perfect grammar, it's to be understood. If you only know hello and food, you can point and say, hello food, and people will generally understand you want food. It's about getting the message across. The fourth action is to focus on core words. Did you know that the first 1,000 most common words in English cover about 85% of daily conversation? And 3,000 words cover about 98%?
Wow, that's incredibly motivating. So instead of trying to learn every single word in the dictionary, which is impossible, we should prioritize the words that give us the most bang for our buck, so to speak. The high-frequency words that are used all the time. That makes the task feel much less daunting.
Absolutely. Imagine learning just 10 new words a day. In 6 months, you'd know 1,800 words, which is well within that highly functional range. It's about being smart with your learning, not just spending endless hours. And talking about being smart, the fifth action is to get a language parent.
A language parent? What's that? Is it like a tutor?
It's someone who interacts with you in the new language, but with specific rules. A good language parent won't correct your mistakes directly. Instead, they'll understand what you're trying to say, respond to the meaning, and use slightly different correct phrasing in their response. They speak slowly, use simple words, and check if you understand. They create a safe, encouraging environment, much like a parent does for a child learning their first language.
That's brilliant. So instead of getting bogged down by corrections, you're constantly hearing the correct version in context, which naturally helps you learn. And because they're speaking slowly and simply, it's not overwhelming. That's a game changer for someone who gets easily discouraged by criticism.
It truly is. The focus is on communication and making you feel comfortable. The sixth action is to copy the face. This links back to physiological training. When you listen to native speakers, pay attention to their mouth movements, their facial expressions. Try to mimic them. This helps you physically learn how to make those new sounds and get the correct pronunciation.
Oh, that's such a visual and practical tip. It's like looking in a mirror and trying to match what you see. Sometimes just shifting your lips or tongue slightly can make a huge difference in how a word sounds. And it's fun too, almost like acting.
Exactly. It might feel a bit silly at first, but it's incredibly effective for improving your accent and fluency. Your mouth is a muscle, and it needs to learn new movements. And finally, the seventh action, direct connect to mental images. We touched on this earlier. When you learn a new word, don't translate it into your native language in your head.
So if I learn the word arbre in French, I shouldn't think arbre means tree, but instead I should instantly think of a picture of a tree in my mind, right?
Precisely. You're creating a direct connection between the sound and the concept, bypassing your native language entirely. This is how fluent speakers operate. They don't translate, they think directly in the language they're speaking. It speeds up your thought process and makes conversations much more natural.
That's the ultimate goal, isn't it? To seamlessly flow between thoughts and words in the new language. So, Paul, we've covered 5 powerful principles and 7 actionable steps. This isn't just theory, these are things people can start doing today. It feels incredibly empowering.
It absolutely is, Alice. And the beauty of it is that these aren't complex, expensive techniques. They're shifts in mindset and simple daily practices that, when consistently applied, can lead to incredible results in a relatively short amount of time. 6 months might seem fast, but if you're truly committed and apply these ideas, you'll be amazed at your progress.
I think the biggest takeaway for me is that it's about active engagement and letting go of the fear of imperfection. Be brave, be curious, and just dive in. Don't wait for perfection. Start communicating, start listening, start mixing, and connect with what's relevant to you.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And remember, every single step you take, no matter how small, is progress. Learning a language is a journey, and with these tools, you can make that journey faster, more enjoyable, and ultimately, more successful. So, what language are you going to start learning in the next 6 months?
That's the question to ponder, listeners. Thank you so much for joining us on Captain English Podcast today. We really hope this episode has inspired you and given you the practical tools to embark on your language learning adventure. Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share this episode with anyone who dreams of speaking a new language. Your support helps us grow.
Yes, thank you for tuning in. We love hearing from you, so feel free to send us your thoughts or questions about language learning. Until next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and keep speaking. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye for now.